Hello everybody. Good morning, afternoon, good night, whenever you may watch this. It is December 28th, 1994. Not today, or whenever you're watching this, unless you have a time machine, of course. But even if you had a time machine, I don't know how you could watch this YouTube video, now posted almost 30 years later, for channel member Spud. And we are going back to Philadelphia, the Civic Center in Philadelphia. Not the Spectrum, I believe. I don't think that was the same thing, right? Nah, this was the Civic Center. Certainly not the Spectrum. 94, probably not packing big arenas like the Spectrum, although this was leading up to New Year's Eve, a big run for them, obviously, always. And then I had a little bit of an unusual opener with Mound, like a Bathtub Gin that was under 8 minutes. But other than that, that was the only unusual suspects from the first set. Simple, Julius, Bouncing Around the Room, Axilla 2. And then it started to heat up a little bit late in the first set with Reba, It's Ice, and Antelope. Also a dog-faced boy in there. So really, Reba, It's Ice, Antelope were probably the highlights. Simple, while it was just basic, just your normal run-of-the-mill textbook Simple, it felt, maybe it was Fishman possibly. It felt, you could tell by later in the second set, this was a Fishman kind of night. So he was probably the highlight himself of the first set. So like I said, we had the Mound opener, a little bit of an oddball opener, but great. I'll always take a Mound. Almost every song's also great back from these sets. So after Mound, we got Simple, Julius, the 8-minute Bathtub Gin, under 8 minutes actually, Bouncing Around the Room, and Axilla 2 back to back. And then the Reba, and it was the big thunderous jam taking us out in Reba. Maybe not thunderous, probably not the right word for that jam. Although on this audience take, in Simple, hearing the crowd reaction was nice and it added to it. But then hearing people talk over the Reba jam certainly did not add to it. The It's Ice jam right there in the middle, but again, just pretty much textbook. It sounded good, played well. Same thing with although Antelope, it took Trey not very long at all to get into the jam there. He had a few things he wanted to say there, and that ended the set in a big way. And then they start the set with a big, powerful Susie Greenberg. And I see Susie NICU starting the set before we get to this night's main event, which was a Mike's Groove with a Mango song. Very nice to hear a Mango song in between Mike's and Weekapog. So we get a strong, very type 1 Mike's, very heavy, angry, kind of mean-sounding Mike's, into a very pleasant Mango song. A little bit of that again tonight, like a lot of shows in these mid-90s. We're playing this, and then we're going to play this, and then we're going to play something in the middle. Then we're going to go way up here, and then we're going to go way over here. So they went from this just sort of punch you in the face Mike's to just a very happy let's all hug Mango song into a very crazy Weekapog groove. Starts out like every Weekapog groove. The first part of the jam almost was like that 90s improvisations from them. They hadn't really found their way quite with that. That was one thing they had not mastered yet in 94. Not necessarily the improv band. So it starts out just a little bit, just almost weird. Experimental's probably a better word, more so than anything. But then kind of in the middle part, it had like almost like an It's Ice feel to it. Almost like a callback to the It's Ice. We had a Cars, Trucks, and Buses tease in there. Maybe that was a little more earlier in the song. Almost felt like a Page's groove at some point. And then we get into a little drummer boy tease, giving Fishman his nod for all the good hard work he had put in throughout the night. And the little drummer boy, it was more than a tease. It was pretty much just like a little drummer boy groove within the Weekapog. And then that leads us into a proper finish into the Weekapog groove. Into Contact, kind of taking a little bit of a break there, but then firing things right back up for Alama. Giving Mr. Henrietta himself a shot at the vacuum solo with Love You, Hold Your Head Up, Squirming Coil, ending the set. What a great set ender. If it's not Slave to the Traffic Light, I'll take Squirming Coil as a set ender. If Fishman had kind of stolen the show, given Page a chance to take one back. And then A Bold as Love, Trey proving no, I am in fact the star of this band with A Bold as Love encore. So a very, again, like most 90s shows, well, not most, but a lot of them, yeah, I guess most, Now, every now and then we get kind of a maddening first set, in a good way. The first sets were always very good back then, but it wasn't necessarily the big part of the show. The birds flying around out here. All right, guys, boom. Well, Spud, thank you for another trip back to 1994. This was December 28th at the Spectrum, and I think that about does it. It was really the Weekapog, Although the Simple, Reba, It's Ice, Antelope, Mike's, there's a lot of other good stuff in here as well. It's just odd that, sometimes when they just come out and they play a song how it's written, and it's very good, and they kind of nail it. We as fans are like, it was just all right. It was regular. It was normal. Dude, not everything can be the Magnaball gin, okay? All right, boom, we're out of here.